So, are you thinking that you need help? Are you thinking about possibly seeking help from a professional? Are you a little scared and worried about that? I just thought I'd talk a little bit about that and what my fears were. They might not be the same ones that you're having right now. As for seeking a counselor, I really actually had little trouble with that. I had an excellent counselor in elementary school that she was just the school guidance counselor that um, I needed to go start seeing when I was having trouble with a teacher, and it was so great to go and see her instead of being in class that I got really used to the idea. Um, and I often sought help over my teenage years and beyond when I was going through issues. I'm very much a person that needs to talk things out to process, and so that was a good place to be able to do it where I felt I was safe. But I know a lot of people haven't had that experience. Probably many of you watching this have never talked to somebody professional about your worries or your struggles. Um, while I was comfortable seeing a counselor, I was terrified at the idea of seeing a psychiatrist or going on medication. For many years, I rejected most vigorously the idea of going on medication from a counselor. So I think the biggest issue I had with the idea of going on medication was loss of control. I have always been somebody that likes to feel like I am totally in control of my life. So I never was very interested in drinking until I got drunk or trying various substances because my very limited experience with anything like that, I hated the feeling. I did not like feeling out of control. And that has played out into lots of other areas of my life. But number one, I think that I thought that if I saw a psychiatrist or somebody like that, that somehow they were going to force me to do something I didn't want to do. And that is not true. Unless you are literally in danger of hurting yourself or hurting someone else, professionals are not going to step in and make you do anything. Um, they recognize you are an independent person, you have your own agency, and they can't force you to take meds or anything like that. They can just lay out suggestions, thoughts, and ideas. Another big thing is I worried that it was somehow going to change my personality, or that I would stop feeling things that are an important part of life to feel. You know, as much as I didn't like feeling anxious and depressed, I felt like maybe getting on medication would be kind of cheating and getting out of the hard stuff of life, and that it would somehow make me into a different person that wasn't really me. So, saying that, since I really didn't go on medication until I was in a really, really bad place, but my experience with it was, wow, this is a whole nother life. This is making me able to become more who I really actually am inside. So, the real Kirsty. I am able to see her so much more because my extreme anxiety and OCD was consuming so much of my time and thought life that it wasn't quiet inside my head. I didn't have time to think. I couldn't think deeply about things because my own thoughts would make me so anxious. It was just like going on meds helped things to quiet down so much. And it made me more able to look at the thoughts objectively, sort of from outside of myself, and much more able to analyze those thoughts about whether they are actually valid and true thoughts. Because, you know, if a thought causes you extreme anxiety, you probably will spend most of your time trying to figure out how to solve the problem that it's telling you there is, instead of thinking about the thought of, like, is this really actually a true or legitimate thought? Because usually they're not. So, as I told you before, OCD often takes your worst fears and magnifies them, your most worst ridiculous fears, and they're going around and around in your head. So, anyway, I felt like the real Kirsty did not have a lot of time to shine. So, um, I just relished so much the peace that started to come on me as I really adjusted to my meds and got over the issues that had sent me to spend time in a psychiatric hospital. Um, it was wonderful. And I have to say that for me, there's no going back. So, one of my great fears was long-term side effects of taking something every day. Um, I was pretty much convinced that everything that's non-natural, organic, uh, probably has some long-term side effects, and maybe that's true. But weighing the pros and cons, my quality of life is so much higher now that I would rather get some disease in 20 or 30 years than have lived my whole life in the kind of anxiety that I used to live. So for me, the risks and benefits, the benefits far outweigh the risks. Just I've done so well in the last few years with my meds that I started wondering, well, maybe I could kind of come down on them and see how that goes. Maybe someday I can do that. But with the increased stress of the pandemic and the political turmoil and everything that is going on in our country right now, with my stress levels going up, it showed me that, oh yeah, your problems, they still are there.